Welcome to Be Who They Come To, where healing meets humor and spirit meets story. Oriana and Kelly are two friends who've stumbled, laughed, cried, and somehow found their way back to source. This podcast is a space to share the messy, magical journey of recovery, healing, and rediscovering themselves, and ideally, helping you do the same, with plenty of laughter along the way, because sometimes the best medicine really is a mix of soul work and a good sense of humor. And now, be who they come to.
Hey, Cal.
Hey, yo, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, living the dream.
I feel like you say that every time, but that's like the best response to that question.
Yeah,
in general. Living the dream. Because really, who is? That's the crappy part. Like, I'd like to be able to say one day that I am, though.
Well, I think sometimes it kind of helps me stay focused because, like, when I get stuck in a rut or whatever, like, it kind of brings me back to I'm living the dream, and my life may be somebody else's dream because their life is so disoriented or whatever. So it's kind of
Are you
like
implying your life is disoriented?
But so it's kind of like it's kind of like it keeps me humble as well.
Right.
So
right.
it's got like it's complicated. Anyway, it's fine. Living the dream.
Right. All right. Me too. I'll partake in that one. Living the dream as well.
Mm.
Yeah. No, but feeling good today. Feeling all right. So there's that.
Exactly.
So welcome to episode number 6, guys. Thank you for giving us another GAN. Today, we're titling the episode Authenticity, Show Up as Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of quotes, actually. So now going forward, Kelly and I decided that we're going to do, I'll have a quote, she'll have a quote, and we're not going to tell each other what our quote is, and we're just going to kind of, for impact purposes, just kind of give it a go. So what's your quote today, Kel?
So mine is by Oscar Wilde. Be yourself because everyone is taken. Boom.
Mic drop. It's true. Everyone else is taken.
Mm-hmm.
You can, there was you're the one little sperm that was successful. So
out of a cajillion.
That's that. So you're the only one. You're the only one.
And I think it helps with comparing yourself to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself and be proud in that, because nobody else will be like you and you'll never be like anybody else. And there's power in that.
Yep. There is. Yeah. So my quote, I decided to keep it on the authentic title as well, but it's knowing who you are ends the need to prove it.
Oh, that is good.
I thought so. Knowing who you are ends the need to prove it. And I think personally, there's been many times in my life where I have felt the need to prove myself, to prove that I'm kind or good enough or pretty enough or, the best at something. There's been times where that's happened, right? I think now I live a lot more authentically and I don't do that. But there's definitely been times in my life where that has been very visible. You know what I mean? Like very obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when you know yourself, you don't have to be preoccupied by pretending.
That's right.
You can just be like, here I am.
But the beauty too about when you know yourself and show up as yourself, there's truth to that.
Yeah.
And there's no room for lying, because if you're yourself, you don't have to try and recount some story that you've made up in your head or whatever to make yourself look better or whatever. You're always yourself. So you know what you're doing. Right.
Mm-hmm. So do you think authenticity, there's a level of accountability with that?
100%. 100%. Own your shit.
Right.
Own your shit. You are who you are. And if you don't like that, change it. Right.
Yeah. Or adjust. You don't
That's it.
necessarily have to change but readjust, realign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I think that, kind of going back to, those moments of pressure, um, I learned very young, that being authentic can get you in trouble. And it's true. It's true. As a little kid, if your parents tell you not to do something and you mouth off and you do it anyway, that can get you in trouble, right? It's not always the safest route being
Right.
authentic, right? As a kid, anyway, you know?
I know my mom has no pictures of me from like grade 7 to like college because I was being authentic. I was self-expressing with pink and green hair and spikes. And for those
Oh,
of
I
you
love
who
it.
know me will know that. But also
Yeah,
too, with that being authentic and expressing myself, some people weren't fans, like you said.
that's the thing, and you know what? I think it's a rite of passage too as a teen, the blue hair, the piercings, like, I
Yeah.
was 14 when I got my first tattoo.
Right.
I really wanted to be authentic. I wanted that tattoo. I was gonna do it. I did no, come hell or high water, I was getting
Hmm.
that ink, and
Hmm.
haven't stopped since. But, yeah, I there's very few pictures of me too, actually, as a teenager, you know? Mind you, I had, like, braces and, like, you go through that kind of,
Oh
ugly
yeah.
duckling phase,
The puberty stage.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
There was
So
nothing authentic about that. Like you said, eyeglasses, braces, way too much hairspray, you know.
right. You had a mohawk, didn't you?
Hmm.
Yeah, at one
Yeah,
point.
in high school,
Yeah,
shaved head, all of that kind of stuff. But
love it.
that for me, that was being my authentic self. But there was also a need to feel different
Yeah,
as I felt different inside because of some of the stuff I was carrying.
same with me.
So
Very much
yeah,
so.
it's kind of weird how,
I always felt different too.
self-expression.
I always
Yep.
felt different too. I felt like I didn't fit in, like I didn't belong. You know, I can say that I was one of the popular kids and, I was
Hmm.
friendly with everybody and people knew me, but I still always felt like I didn't quite belong, that I was
Hmm.
different. And I think
Yeah.
that came with being an empath and having big
Right.
feelings, right? When you
Hmm.
feel deeply and
Right.
largely, then, like the typical trying to fit in, I went through that, but I was still just always myself too,
Hmm.
right? Like I didn't, I had shit going on at home,
Hmm.
a lot of bad shit going on at home.
Hmm.
So I did have that mask at that time
Right.
as a teenager. There was
Yeah.
that whole, life is nothing but chaos at home, but then you're expected to go to school and behave like, like nothing's wrong. Go get good grades, go do your homework, go do your work, and that's what's expected of you, right?
Well,
And
yeah, the what authenticity really is, what is that really about? Is it about, pretending, performing, and like you
yeah,
said, we have to go to school with a mask, being
that's
like,
it,
no, everything's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's living in alignment with your
Hmm.
values, your truth, um, standing kind of firm and
Yeah.
knowing who you are, your mistakes and all, flaws and all,
Hmm.
and I own that shit. I own that
Yeah.
shit. I do. I do.
Hmm.
There's I'm pretty good at accountability, responsibility, authenticity, like I can say that. And you know what? And I'll have a bit of an ego here for a second. I like myself.
Hmm. No, that's
I do.
amazing.
I
That's
do.
not being egotistical. That's
Yeah,
actually being
I've worked
honest.
hard. I've worked hard
Hmm.
at who I am and I like me,
Right.
There's always things to work on. Always, always. That's
Yeah.
never ending journey, right?
Hmm.
There's always things to work on. And I'd like to think that I'm pretty open-minded and that
Hmm.
I'm very open to constructive criticism. So,
Hmm.
um, I'm good at always wanting to elevate, to
Hmm.
evolve.
Hmm.
And I think that's important. I think that contributes to authenticity as well. Yeah.
Well, it's being comfortable in your own skin and kind of unapologetically being yourself. And um, just to get into it a little bit, my daughter, who is ASD, which she is totally cool, you know, um,
Autism, in case anybody isn't familiar
yeah,
with the acronym ASD.
and I absolutely like, because she doesn't really get caught up in social norms or whatever. And believe it or not, I have learned so much from her because she
Oh,
just
yeah.
is unapologetically herself.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yep.
like, wow. Because I
Yep.
struggle, I would like to think that I'm an honest, transparent person, but I
Yep.
struggle with authenticity. And it's because for me, um, it's vulnerability. And that's a barrier for me.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It is because you kind of take your meat suit off
Hmm.
and you're down to the bare bones and it's like, look at me. This is who I am. Take
Yeah.
it or leave it. I've always been, if you don't like me, line up with the rest of
Hmm.
them. That's fine. You
Yeah.
know, people are going to
Yeah.
talk, people are going to judge.
Yeah, I was like that when I was younger, but somewhere along the line, I just felt like being myself, and I'm going to be super vulnerable here, just wasn't good enough. Or when
Yeah.
somebody would get to know the real me,
Yep.
there was like that fear of abandonment and rejection.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if they don't know the real me, then if they leave, then they didn't know the real me. And it's not
Anyway,
like
exactly.
I consciously, I think subconsciously, I was like, I just won't let anybody see the real me. And struggling with my own identity too.
Yep.
Like when we
Yep.
all go through that, it's like, who the hell am I? Because
Yeah.
I'm being told by this person this is what I need to be, and I'm being told like, so it's
Yep.
really trying to find your true self with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. I think for me, often getting mad helped,
hmm.
as strange as
Hmm.
that sounds. I was a rebellious kid. I was a rebellious
Hmm.
teen. And back then they
Hmm.
didn't say things like, like, oh, well, you're struggling. It was, you're a bad kid.
Hmm.
That was the label, like back in the 80s,
Yeah.
and you're a bad kid.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm not though. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not bad. Like, I knew on the inside I was not bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, when I was younger, came the need to prove myself too, because
Hmm.
I needed to be a good girl to have my father's
Hmm.
approval, for example.
Yeah. I think
Um,
even us becoming young moms, right? Like I think
100%.
that had a lot to do with
That
it.
was a catalyst for me, huge
Hmm.
catalyst for me. Getting
Yeah.
pregnant at 16 and
Hmm.
being judged. You have a big belly. It's very obvious you're young. It's very
Yeah.
obvious that you're pregnant. And
Hmm.
people look at you and they have this presumption of, you're a slut.
Yep.
You're a slut. Must be you've slept around
Yeah.
somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And uh, which is definitely not the case for me.
Hmm.
We can get into that another time. But for me,
Hmm.
that's when I started to get mad. That's when I
Hmm.
started to be like, you know what, fuck you. I don't fit that typical mold of a
Hmm.
teen mom.
And what is the typical mold? Because I know in my experiences, like with both you and I, and even when I went to the Uville Center with a bunch, we weren't hoes.
No,
Like, you
no,
know what I
it's
mean?
not
Like
what it's about. It's not
but
what
I
it's
think
about.
some of the barriers, though, I think were, being a young mom, though, you had to be something for somebody else.
That's
So
right.
that's where I think I had a bit of an identity crisis or whatever you want to call it, because I didn't have those milestones
Yeah.
to figure it out because and I wouldn't change it for the world, but I think I missed some steps. So that's why I didn't have a strong sense of self, because I had this little human being that I had to give
Yeah.
everything and pour everything into, which, yeah, I again don't
Yeah.
regret it, but I think I missed some steps
Yeah. And
on
I,
like
I think,
self-awareness.
yeah, your growth is stunted, right? Because you lose the privilege of being able to think of yourself first.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to, is a
Yeah.
lot of people decide to have children and they consciously come to that point in their
Hmm.
life where they're like, okay, it's time to put our life on the back burner. We're now going to commit
Hmm.
to having children.
But you've
We did,
grown emotionally.
Yeah,
when you
we
decide.
have it that way. We were
Yep.
blessed in different ways, and the trajectory of
Absolutely.
our lives changed.
Hmm.
And, I know that, it saved me getting
Me too.
pregnant young. It saved my life, and, I was not going down a good road.
Hmm.
So having that, uh, what I felt for the first time was my purpose,
Hmm.
um, it I got and it's funny because it comes back to authenticity for me too, is I got very protective of the fact that I was a
Hmm.
teen mom because I was already protective of my baby.
Of course. Yep.
And mama bear feelings, right? Every mama bear will tell you too, like, do not cross that line with me, right? And
Hmm.
that's kind of where my strength grew. And
Right.
I ended up doing public speaking on teen pregnancy.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
became very confident about it, very sure of myself in that respect because I
Hmm.
really wanted to end the stigma of what it meant to be a teen mom, you know,
Right.
and the things that come with that.
Yeah. And to try to kind of change lanes, and another barrier is social media.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's a comparison culture.
It is. It
I do
is.
it. I do it. I don't do it
Yeah.
as much, but I do it. And
Yeah,
what we
I'm
have
pretty
to.
I'm pretty raw with my posts. I don't
Yeah,
For me, I think
I'm not.
people actually gravitate towards, vulnerability and authenticity.
Hmm.
People
Hmm.
There's a level of respect there because so many people wear that mask, and then
Hmm.
they see somebody who's being real and they're like, "Wow," like,
Hmm.
what I'd give to be able to just say that openly without
Hmm.
judgment,
Hmm.
like, and stand firm in my beliefs or whatever that
Hmm.
is. And I know you struggle with that too, like, and I'm trying to encourage you to, like, "No, Kelly, post that. Take a video of yourself playing the guitar and put that up. Be proud of that." And
Yeah.
you won't fucking do it.
You know what? I'm working on it. I feel that I'm authentic with my peeps,
Yes,
and
100%.
and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
this whole social media thing, like even this is a huge hurdle for me
Mhm.
because it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, and so well, I mean, this was a huge social media was a huge barrier for me, and
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm working through it and being like, no, this is the addressing mental health and all of that stuff is way more important. And this
Yep.
is me. This
Yep.
is,
Yep.
so but yeah, social media has been a little bit of a bone of
Yeah,
contention with
it's
me.
you either kinda become more reserved or you kinda go with the flow and you go ahead and you post things, you say things, and, um
Hmm.
I think there was a lot of even controversy around COVID and things like that too, kind of made me
Hmm.
step up even more. It made
Hmm.
me more vocal.
Right.
Um, and there's times in your life where you're given the opportunity to be authentic,
Yeah.
and it's a choice. I do believe it's a choice.
Yeah. I think it's also exposure too, because I think like trauma is another barrier, I think.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so sometimes when you're going through a traumatic experience, showing what you're really going through, you don't feel safe.
Yep.
And
That
then
makes sense.
that kind of manifests itself in kind of really, we hide our true selves.
Yeah, yeah, that does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
Um, like I was saying too, I had a home life of absolute chaos. So I did have to hide that, right?
Hmm.
I knew it was wrong. And for those of you who don't know me, there was abuse at home, physical abuse at home. So there's me being vulnerable and authentic.
Hmm.
Um,
Good for you,
and
girl.
I I knew it was wrong what was happening to me,
Hmm.
you know? And I mouthed off and I spoke up and I got it even worse because of that.
Yeah.
My mom will tell you too, like, you wouldn't shut up. So you got it worse than your sister did, you know?
Hmm.
And and that's okay because I wouldn't change that.
Hmm.
Because I still speak up. I still have a mouth. And I'm good with that. I
Yeah.
think it helps me be who I really am.
Right. And some people will do what you did, and then some people will recluse or
100%.
or or
And that's their
feel.
choice. That's 100% their choice. That comes with time, I think,
Hmm.
comfort. When you're surrounded by your people, like you said, you're totally good at being fully 100% yourself in amongst your people, right?
Because I feel safe.
That's it. And I think with that
Mhm.
comes to the whole extrovert introvert thing,
Right.
because I'm
Yeah.
actually a pretty introverted person, but amongst my
Hmm.
people, I'm extroverted.
Right.
People who know me, who I'm comfortable with, I'm extrovert. And that doesn't mean I'm inauthentic
No.
amongst,
No.
not my people, because I still am, but there's just a different level of energy that I
Hmm.
give, that I'm able
Right.
to exude, right?
Hmm. Yeah. And that's really what it is. And I think there's no kind of one way of being authentic, but the goal is to be authentic. There's all sorts of
Yeah,
different
there's no
avenues.
rules or anything
No.
too, right? And there's different areas of, like, there's being authentic in the workplace. There's
Hmm.
being authentic in relationships, being authentic as a
Hmm.
parent,
Yeah.
amongst your friends, right? There's different I guess there's different masks people wear. Some
Yeah.
people are really good at putting on a mask for work. Like, I'm in
Hmm.
sales. So,
Hmm.
there's that work mask that comes on. And, I
Hmm.
have to be friendly and outgoing when I don't necessarily feel like it in the moment, but that's my job. That's what I do,
Hmm.
right? But I've also gotten very comfortable with just also being myself. I may not
Hmm.
feel like doing it in that moment, but I'm still me, and I'm pretty good at building a rapport with people fairly quickly.
Hmm.
Um, and that's something I do take pride in, that people are
Hmm.
comfortable with me early in a relationship. But
So where do you feel that you're most authentic?
um, I want to say probably in relationships,
Hmm.
in my partnerships and my romantic relationships, because if I have an issue with something, I'll bring it up.
Hmm.
I want to communicate. I want to resolve.
Hmm.
The goal is always resolution.
Hmm.
So through being in therapy from, as a
Hmm.
teenager, and all these years of learning to communicate and articulate and identify feelings, it's made it easier for me to want to take things, address things head on. I'm
Hmm.
just one of those, like, I'm just like, let's tackle this, let's do this.
Hmm.
Brene Brown has this quote that she says, choose discomfort over resentment. And so what that
Right.
comes down to is have that uncomfortable conversation before you start to resent that person or the issue,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? And that also comes down to being authentic, for me anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's I want
Hmm.
to deal with this. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it
Hmm.
anyway,
Hmm.
because I don't want there to be resentment. So I'd
Yeah.
say in my romantic relationships, in my partnerships, is probably where it comes out the most.
Hmm.
Secondary would probably be parenting.
Yeah. That for me, I think the two tops are my friendships and my children.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Because I really want my children to feel like they can be authentic, right? So
That's the
it's
thing.
it's 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 I'm providing a safe space, I think, for my children to be
Yeah.
authentic. I'm learning through that.
Mhm.
'Cause
Mhm.
I didn't really have a lot of that growing up, and even in
No.
my 20s and 30s, it just, there was certain situations in my life where um that just wasn't I didn't have a necessarily safe place
Well,
to
that's the
do
thing,
that.
exactly. Some of us
Hmm.
who had those kinds of upbringings, it wasn't safe to be
Hmm.
yourself.
Hmm.
Um, the safe thing was to turn into a shell, to turtle, right?
So where do you think you're least authentic?
Hmm, that's a good question. Um, I think probably just based on probably work, only because, like I said, you have to turn it on, right? When you're in
Hmm.
sales, like, you've got to, fuck, I'm tired, I don't feel like talking, but hey, how's it going on the phone, right? Like, you
Hmm.
gotta kind of make that switch real quick. And that's just a mask, I think, that comes with the territory.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily not being authentic. There's just
No,
a boundary that you
that's
have
it.
to
That's it.
have with work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mine, I think I struggle in my intimate relationships, if I'm going to be really honest.
yeah, I
And
can
it's
see
not
that
that
about you. Yeah.
I fake it or I pretend. It's just the moments of where, I'm struggling or I'm having a situation, I feel vulnerable. So
Mm-hmm.
I just shut down and I'm like, nope, nope.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's where I need work, I think, if
Yeah.
if if anything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that about you. I can definitely agree with that one. I think I think you let it build,
Yeah.
and you let your mind kind of get away with you, and it makes it worse than it actually is. When if it was addressed early on, it probably wasn't that big of an issue, right?
Well, and it's just I think I still correlate vulnerability with authenticity.
Yeah.
And so that's where I need to do the work because being authentic is not necessarily vulnerable. It's just being yourself.
That's
But
right.
obviously somewhere I feel being myself is weak.
Yeah.
We've I've been really working on authenticity and assertiveness in the last little bit, just, and it's really interesting that I correlate those two. And it's funny, I'm gonna write this stuff down. And
No, I think this year alone you've come a long way.
yeah.
I think this
So sorry,
it's
go ahead.
no, I just said it's I've seen the growth in you, and
Thank you.
yeah, it's kind of cool to
This
see,
is where I get really ooey ooey.
right? And I'm good with saying it. I'm good with saying I love
It's
you,
like,
Kelly. You mean the
I love
world
you
to me,
too.
Kelly.
Yeah.
And I'm able, I think you and I both, like we
Hmm.
were able to say that to each other
Yeah.
and be our authentic selves with each other, right?
Yes.
If with nobody,
Absolutely.
the ugly
Yep.
crying, the deepest, darkest secrets, there is nothing that isn't fair game with you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, in other aspects of my life anyway, I need to not ugly cry and snot cry, but it's I'm working on it, okay?
We all are endless project. But I think too, what helps me remain authentic and
Mm,
I check myself is my spirituality too, right?
yeah.
Being the goal is to always be, your best self and do what's for your highest good. And
Hmm.
I think speaking your truth and, like you said, being vulnerable, exposing
Hmm.
yourself. I think,
That's how it feels. And it
yeah,
should
like
feel that way.
exposure. Yeah, you're like the nudist with the trench coat, like,
Yeah.
woo.
Or a
Yeah,
snowsuit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Why do you think it matters though? Why do you think authenticity matters so much?
Um, I think it it builds character.
Right.
I think it also breeds integrity
It sure does.
because when someone sees that, wow, they're really themselves and they're confident
Hmm.
in who they are, and their word means something,
Hmm.
right? Like when you're able to follow through with something you said you were going to do, right? That
Hmm.
and it comes back to like the gentleman's handshake, right? Where your
Hmm.
word matters, it means something.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot of ubiquitous people walking around, fake people that aren't able to take that mask off ever,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Even when they're alone, they don't take it off. They kid themselves about who they are, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's the biggest disservice that you can do to yourself,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. I think authenticity is really about trusting yourself.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, trusting your journey, trusting yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and I think what it does too is it lowers anxiety, like you said. If you're just living yourself, then there's no anxiety that's building up because you're just like, yep.
Yep, that's it. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times when I'm fucking shaking in my boots about saying something that is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or being vulnerable. Like, it doesn't mean I'm
Mm-hmm.
not scared. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared. There's lots of
Yeah.
times where I'm like, this is not a popular opinion,
Right.
but I'm gonna fucking say it.
Yeah.
This is not gonna go over well, but well, I can't help myself. So here we go. Here goes nothing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think people naturally gravitate towards authenticity, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And
Mm-hmm.
I think even if that authenticity makes you an underdog, people root for underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
They do. People
Right.
want to see people succeed, I think. Well, you have your assholes and you have your dark shadows that, want to see you fail. But I know
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's just my expectation of people, is that
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see everybody see the best in others,
Mm-hmm.
and give people that benefit. You and I were talking about this the other day too. I will trust somebody until they give
Mm-hmm.
me reason not to. Whereas
Right.
I think a lot of people think trust needs to be built.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'll have that jar of marbles that's full. And if something happens, okay, I'll take away a marble. I'll take away a
Mm-hmm.
marble. I'll take away a
Mm-hmm.
marble. Whereas other might, plunk, plunk into an empty jar until that jar is full.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's something to be said about each of those. But,
Mm-hmm. Well, and
yeah,
yeah, no, that you're absolutely right. And trust is a biggie.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'm a closeted authentic person.
If that's a thing, you're that.
I'm just rolling with it because uh you know there is integrity there, but with the vulnerability. So if anybody out there is kind of listening and thinking, well, I'm authentic but just in a different way,
Yeah, I'm just quietly authentic.
it's kind
But
of like
I
can
think
be
that's the thing
scary.
too. It's probably a spectrum too. Like, just because I might be a little more vocal about, being vulnerable and stuff, it doesn't make me more right.
Fair enough.
There's no right or wrong way to
No.
do it.
Hmm.
Like, I think, I would like to see you speak up a little bit more, only because I'm proud of who you are. And I love you, and I want other people to see that greatness in you too, because I
Oh,
think
okay.
I
You're
think
gonna
with
make me
you
cry.
I think with you, unfortunately, it's often overlooked. And I think maybe you've been, quote unquote, blessed with a bunch of assholes in your life that haven't seen that in you, right? It's true. It's true. And when people, and we tend to identify with people's opinions,
Mhm.
right? And we equate their feeling of whether or not we're worthy with our value.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I think you've had a lot of assholes in your life. And I think,
Cheers.
right? Fuck, you know? So it's, and I have too. I've had my fair share.
Yeah.
I'm not without scars myself. So
Well, I think when we're in our 40s, that's what happens. We've experienced all sorts of different
yeah, you're a
things
little
that
banged
have
up and bruised. Yeah.
shaped us,
Yeah,
really. And
absolutely.
so, what do you think some of the tools and practices are for authentic living?
Um, Tools and practices. I know that for me, like I said, anger often, like if I'm
Hmm.
triggered by something, that'll get
Hmm.
me going. So,
Right.
but anger is not a driver for everybody, right? Like,
No.
it's not. Um, but I think getting it out, so journaling,
Hmm.
is probably a good one.
Hmm.
I think learning to set boundaries.
Yes, that's a biggie.
Boundaries is huge, and that comes back to, like, when I said before too, like, I'm not nice, but I'm kind. And
Hmm.
kind people have boundaries, you
Right.
know? And I think when you're authentic, you have strong boundaries.
Hmm.
you
Well, I
know?
love this quote that we found. And it's not really a quote, it's more of a daily check-in. Am I performing or am I being true? Like, that's
Mm,
amazing.
yeah,
To
it
just
really is.
really how you're
It
facing
is.
the world. Is this who I really am or who am I performing for?
Exactly.
Who am I trying to please?
Yeah, there's the people pleasing that comes into that too.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and I've
Yeah.
found myself being a people pleaser in the past. I'm
Hmm.
pretty good at not being one anymore. I would rather
Right.
you have to live in your own skin,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
We walk around with our karma based on how we've behaved, right?
Right.
And I need to be able to sleep at night
Of
knowing
course.
that I behaved in a way, that is true to me,
Hmm.
because when I compromise myself, I get resentful,
Yeah, that's true.
right? And compromising yourself too much, it creates burnout too, right? Because you're
Oh, of
never,
course.
the compromise, like, and it's makes life stressful,
Hmm.
all that compromise, right? Compromise, especially, like in a relationship, it's a two-way street, right? But when one
Hmm.
person's compromising and the other one isn't, just
Oh
don't
yeah,
doesn't
you're
work, man. Just doesn't
it,
work.
it's Kaputski.
That's
It's
it.
just like, yeah, it's not good. I
Yeah.
think what you're really good at too is being like, um your truth. It's okay to voice your truth. And
Mhm.
it may be a
Yep.
little bit sideways, it may be, but you're really good at kind of saying it doesn't matter, Kelly. Like, it's your truth.
Yeah.
So
That's
you're
it.
not responsible for other people's feelings.
That's right. You're not.
It's your truth. So
You're
it
not.
it doesn't matter if it's down to the date, the time, the whatever. It's so, that's something that you're really, I feel really good at. And
Thank you.
um yeah, no, voicing truth.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's important. When I was a kid, I was a good little liar.
Mhm.
I could fucking fabricate the best story. You could put the evidence right in front of me and I'd be like, "No,
Yeah.
that didn't
Yeah.
happen."
Hmm.
And I believed myself.
Yeah.
You believe your lies because you're that, dedicated and committed to them because you don't want people
Hmm.
to think badly of you. But I was labeled a bad kid because of that, right?
Hmm.
And it was when I got pregnant at 16 that
Hmm.
that really
Is it
changed.
because the lying, is it because you didn't like the truth?
It was because I wanted my way.
Fair. Okay. That's fair.
I
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to be
that's
able to
honest.
do something, and I just had a sense of entitlement, I guess, at that
Hmm.
age, this is all,
Hmm.
like, before the age of 15, so,
Of course.
type thing.
Yeah.
So, it was when I
Yeah.
was younger, and I learned very quickly that telling the truth is actually easier.
Oh, hell yes.
That initially it might be more difficult and challenging, but at the end of the day, it's easier, you know? And if you're not capable of telling the truth, probably
Mhm.
shouldn't fucking lie.
And sometimes you end up living a lie and you don't even know it
That's what happens to people.
because you just keep on. And it's not necessarily lying to yourself, but it's not accepting the truth of a situation. So
Yeah.
you concoct these things in your head that you can manage to live with for some weird reason. Maybe
Yep.
it's delusion. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
you start living this whole big concocted lie
Yep.
where, it's kind of like, how the F did I get here?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a lot of people walking around that are like that,
Hmm.
that their life is a lie.
Yeah.
Their life is a lie, but that's their journey.
And
That's their journey.
that's where you kind of have to meet, like the you when you're sitting in that and you don't know your own self, you don't know your life. It's kind of
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
whoa. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And it's actually a blessing that you see it.
What do
I
you mean?
think, well, it's a blessing that you're like, this is not my life. Like, I've
Oh,
created
right. When you can
this
identify finally.
facade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
if you're there and you're just kind of piecing it all together, being like, no, this is not authentic, this is not real, hats off to you. I've done it, and it's a hell of a awakening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on with your cam there?
I don't know. Oh,
Oh, way to go. Good
hmm,
job.
okay.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Kelly.
So I think yeah, being mindful
Yeah.
is another tool. I
I think
think,
being
and
present.
we were just talking about that, being
Yeah.
mindful. Yeah.
Yeah. Being mindful, being present. Um,
Mhm.
and I think it's easier to live honestly. Because, like I
Right.
said, liars have to recount stories that they've told, and it's like, oh, well, I
Hmm.
told this person that, and I told that person this,
Yep.
and like I got to remember the date and time because I told them, like yesterday I totally got busted fibbing yesterday. So someone calls me and I
Hmm.
didn't answer, and I messaged back saying, oh, I was busy doing this, and they're like, oh, well, because you just passed me driving. Fuck me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I just wrote back, I'm like, busted. Truthfully, I didn't want to answer the phone. I wasn't in the mood. I didn't want to answer the phone and I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I owned it. Right in
Oh,
that second, I owned it.
that's so good.
And
That's
I
yeah, that's
apologized.
so
I'm
good.
sorry. I,
Yeah.
I I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I didn't want to answer the phone. I didn't feel like talking. So when I should have said that right away. So I
Yeah,
have my
just like
moments too, right? Like
yeah.
where, like you say something like that and so maybe that is a people pleasing thing. Maybe in that
Yeah.
moment I was trying to by
Well,
not hurting that person.
it's authenticity isn't perfection.
No,
It's just not. It's actually authenticity is
imperfect.
accepting the flaws and the imperfections, right? Like,
Simon Sinek does a really good bit on that.
hmm,
That show up messy,
yeah,
show up messy,
yeah.
and I will meet you in your mess, not at your best. Right?
And
There's that
that's
quote
a
too,
yeah.
and I would rather help somebody or be witness to their growth and them
Hmm.
developing their authenticity than somebody presenting themselves to me as perfect.
Right. Yeah, because
Like they
perfect
have their
doesn't
shit.
exist.
It doesn't exist.
It
It's an
does
illusion.
not
Just like
exist.
control's an
And
illusion. It doesn't exist.
hmm,
None of us are perfect, but I think that's what makes all of us beautiful too.
hmm,
We're all different.
hmm,
We all have different levels of authenticity or
hmm,
vulnerability or, and that doesn't make anyone more right than the other. It's just we're different.
hmm.
We're different.
Yeah, I think another check-in is do I feel safe being seen?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think for both of you and I, plenty of times in our lives where it wasn't safe, right? That part of our upbringing um, led to consequences that were not fair,
No, that's right. No,
right?
that's
So I think there was, yeah. Are you safe? It's a good one. That's a good one.
yeah. Am I safe being seen? That's
Yeah,
really what it is. I mean,
yeah,
um, and it helps you self-check with yourself as well.
yeah.
Like, am I surrounding myself with people that I feel safe to be seen?
That's it. And I think that's super important. I know that I've learned to have a smaller circle for that
Oh,
reason
right.
because I'm selective with who I give my energy to.
Hmm.
And I need to feel safe with those people. And there's been times where I've removed people from my life because I do not feel safe with them.
Right.
Something's happened or transpired or whatever in my life, and it's like, well, you're not safe to be around anymore. I can't be myself. You're not looking out for my best interests, right?
Hmm.
So I
Right.
step back. I step back from that person, and I might step towards them again at some point in my life, but in
Hmm.
that moment, that's what I need to feel safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and as we use the serenity prayer in our last episode, accepting what is really means being real, and the courage to change is choosing authenticity. So
Yep.
it's kind of fitting that that's what that means.
Yep. Yep.
It's that prayer essentially is about being authentic,
It
being
is.
your true self, and
It is.
being comfortable in being your true self, whatever that may be.
Yeah. Well, when you think about, like, if you had to say, what feelings does authenticity evoke in you?
Hmm.
What would you say they are?
Uh, for me, it's being real is for me it's vulnerability.
But where do you feel that in your body? Like, how does that manifest for you? Like, do you feel it in your chest? Do you get nervous? Do you get sweaty?
Hmm.
Like I know for me, right away in my solar plexus, I feel like
Hmm.
I get
Yeah,
scared.
yeah, yeah, it's probably my chest or my back or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of
Um,
people hold stress and stuff in their back, but I think
that
when
could be
you,
arthritis though too.
yeah, right. Like at our age, fuck, man, you take your shirt off wrong and you've got a pinched nerve for 2 weeks.
Is this vulnerability or arthritis?
Every new injury, Kelly, I'm calling you out. That's it. That's it, Kelly. You're just not letting yourself be vulnerable, Kelly. That's what you're doing right now.
You know what though? That does happen.
It does, and that's the problem. You swallow
We
too many
manifest
fuck
it.
yous in your life, and
Yeah.
it shows up as illness and disease in your body.
Yep.
That's the problem. You have a lot of people who, and it's my belief system,
Hmm.
that if you choke back too much and you're too
Hmm.
nice and you're too people pleasing and you're not standing up for yourself and you have no boundaries, your body's going to have enough eventually. Your body's going to be
Oh
like,
hell yeah.
no, no, no more, no more, like
Hmm.
heart
Your
disease,
nervous system
cancer, all kinds of things. Like, yes, there's predispositions, there's
kaputskis.
all there, but I think there's a lot of elements to that,
Hmm.
that we can contribute to differently,
Right.
and I think there's something to be said about reducing stress in your life,
Oh hell yeah.
meditation, yoga, um,
Yeah.
making your community smaller, your circle smaller, it can all contribute to taking your stress levels down. And
Hmm.
I know for me, the last couple of years, I've tried to really identify where I'm feeling things in my body. Like if I'm in a
Hmm.
situation and something doesn't feel right, I'm like, okay, my nerves are telling me right now, like my body is
Hmm.
vibrating and it's telling me something is not right. Remove
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Remove yourself. So, and I think when it comes to vulnerability and authenticity too, you're going to feel that in your body as well. Right.
Hmm.
And if you're not authentic for long enough, your body's going to tell you something's wrong.
Hmm.
Your body's going to tell you something's wrong. In a relationship, for example, if you're harboring some kind of resentment,
Hmm.
eventually what happens? You
Yeah.
stress, break down, like there's something to be said about releasing all of this energy that comes
Hmm.
from being vulnerable and authentic just to get it out. I think it
Right.
helps with your health too, your
Right.
physical,
Oh my gosh, it does. Yeah.
right? Right?
Yeah, because you're not preoccupied or burdened. You're just like,
That's
it's
it.
like
It's gone.
freeing the
You said it.
mind.
Yeah, you said it. It's gone.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's freeing. It's very liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly it. So,
Brings you peace.
mhm.
Brings you
It's
peace.
supposed to. Right
Right?
now, I don't know, but it is bringing me peace actually.
Yeah.
No,
See?
that's really what it is.
See?
Yep. And I mean, let's revisit our quotes. You know, be yourself, everyone else is taken.
Yep. It's true. They are. And knowing who you are ends the need to prove it.
That's it. That's
I,
it.
I don't I don't need to prove to nobody.
No,
People are gonna have their
no.
opinions. People are gonna talk. Those who know me
Hmm.
know what
Hmm.
is real and what is not.
Well, and maybe what it is too, it's if people struggle with seeing somebody else being authentic, maybe it's a mirror of what maybe they're struggling with, right?
Yep. Possibly.
So
Maybe the
maybe
fact
if you're
maybe I'm too authentic and you're my mirror and I know it's like, Oriana, you should probably tone it down a little bit. Maybe take it down a
remind me
notch.
to get fly ribbons, please.
Is that a fly on your cam? That's hilarious.
Sorry, guys.
Fly
I'm being
ribbon.
authentic right now.
Mm-hmm. You've got a fly in the house that wants to sit on your computer cam.
One fly, or maybe one fly, and it just decided to come and sit with us. Really?
It's attracted to the energy.
Really? Flies like
Positive
shit.
energy.
Oh.
Hey, well, yeah, there's that.
No.
What are you saying, Kelly? What are you
know
saying?
what? I don't know, but it's just really super annoying, and
Yeah,
it's something I would have kept to myself. But I'm like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
Great conversation,
As per usual, Kel.
Yeah.
Next episode. We've already got that one planned out too. So many plans, so little time. But we're talking about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is a biggie, boundaries. And I think that one we decided we're going to do a part 1 and part 2 because there's a few different subjects we want to touch on. But yeah, boundaries is going to be a big one. I think this one went well.
Yeah. No. Yep. Even the flies liked it. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Big fans. We've got big fans.
Well, I've boundaries will be 1 and 2, and we will we'll see you there. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all of the positive feedback that everybody's giving us.
That's been great too. That's been really great. Support is appreciated. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe and do all those things that we hate asking for. There's me being authentic. Please like us, follow along. But again,
and tune in. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. But
No. But you're going to want to because we're fucking good. Like, you're going to want to listen to all of it. Right? But, all right. Well,
thank you all for your time. Okay.
Bye, guys. Bye. Peace out.